Hi, my name is Jesse at Trash Panda.
And I'm Kyle at Trash Panda.
And today, we're gonna attempt to do something that we've been trying to do since we first started making the ozone. It's kind of like an ongoing project, right?
Yes, it has eluded us. We have tried time and time again.
And only failed.
Every time.
But today, I think we're gonna officially be able to put a period on the project that we've been calling
Frozone.
So I don't remember exactly who it was. It might have been a YouTube comment or a Patreon comment or someone on the team. But if you didn't already know, we call the color clear ice. And right around the time we were announcing the ozone, someone connected the color ice and ozone and said we needed to make a Frozone. And this might be dumb, but the minute I saw that, I knew that nothing would stop us from making that happen. Little did I know though, there were a couple of roadblocks in the way. The first of which had to do with where clear plastic comes from. So this is a color that we call ice, but in the plastics world, you'd probably hear it referred to as natural. Interestingly enough, almost all virgin plastic starts out as this clear, natural color. From there, during the injection molding process, color is added to the clear plastic. So when you want a product that's colorful, even like the color of these bins, what you do during the injection molding process is you take this clear plastic and then you add colorant. So let's just say hypothetically you want to make a clear ozone, then in almost any other company, all you do is call a plastic supplier and say, hey, I need this exact plastic. But in the game we play, which is 100% recycled, we like to say, we don't choose the plastic chooses us. So on occasion, as you can obviously see, we've gotten these clear plastics before, but that leads into the second problem specific to disc golf, which is weight. So we call this Noah's Ark, and this is 2 of every single run of disc or plastic we've ever tested. And these 2 rows are all the ozones we've ever tested. And the very first time we tested what we hoped would be a Frozone, it came out way overweight. I've talked about this before, but if you didn't already know, the weight of a disc is the volume of the mold combined with the density of the plastic. And typically that's just a really simple calculation that manufacturers do when ordering plastic. But because we don't choose the plastic and the plastic chooses us, we realized early on that we would be getting a bunch of plastics at a bunch of different specific gravities. So early on, we simply made the decision to make all of our molds varying volumes, meaning we would always at least have a mold to recycle that plastic into. So for example, the ice inner core is 165 grams, but in the ozone mold, the same recycled plastic comes out at 180 plus grams. But then we got a second clear plastic, and that one came out at 184. But then we got a third clear plastic. And that one was actually the one we used in the test for dome versus flat. And I actually don't have it written on here, but you probably guessed by now that it came out also over 180 grams. I think if I'm being totally honest, it was at this point that I gave up on the hope of the Frozone. We tried so many times and it was just like, maybe it wasn't meant to be. But then someone sent us a super random recycled plastic that we actually made an entire video about that we tested in the Canyon mold, and the weight of that looked promising. Because it came out in the high 160s and the Canyon mold is slightly smaller in volume than the ozone mold, we immediately thought that Project Frozone might actually not be dead. Now we all know the saying, good things come to those who wait. And while I know that to be true, I don't like it. However, in this scenario, if that is true, then it really works out better than we could have planned. Because next week, the ozone turns 1, and Trash Panda turns 5. So to celebrate, we're doing a 5-year box with 5 discs in 5 blends we've never run before. So we're really counting on the fact that this ozone will work for that box. If you're seeing this, that probably means that it worked, but I don't know. We've posted fails before. Maybe it doesn't work. I guess time will tell. So how do you feel about this test?
I feel pretty good and confident. We've tried it on the smaller machine in an entirely different mold in the Canyon, but we have not tried it on this machine or in the ozone mold. So it's going to be a guess if it'll actually work when all said and done, but theoretically, it looks like it's gonna line up pretty well.
And this plastic is weird, right?
Super weird. The only way I can describe it is like putting your hand in ground grocery bags, but then it's like, it's super inconsistent. It's a really odd feeling material.
It's fluffy.
Fluffy is absolutely the words I would use.
So one of the problems you can run into with recycled materials is right up there in the feed throat. So basically at the bottom of the hopper, all the plastic is going down, and with reground materials, sometimes that plastic will what's called bridge, and basically it just holds all the plastic in place and doesn't go actually down into the barrel. So the first time we tested this, it was getting stuck the whole time, and that's largely because of the fluffy that Kyle was talking about. Like when things are like that, they're just easier to catch, but we reground it even smaller, so it should be hypothetically a little better. However, it also means that all the knowledge you have from processing on that machine is out the window because it's a completely different pellet size.
Completely different. Not even remotely the same any longer.
And at the end of the day, it's a different machine, so it was already out the window to begin.
Yeah, it didn't even matter what I knew.
That right there, what he just said, is the story of injection molding. It didn't even matter if I knew, because you don't know. So while Kyle's getting everything ready, there's really two major questions we have. And actually there's really just one major question. Can we make a PDGA legal transparent ozone? But after that, assuming that it works, the next biggest question is flight. Because we tested it in the canyon, we have a general idea of the feel, but the flight in terms of the ozone is a total unknown. So we're hoping for PDGA legal, and if PDGA legal, then we move on to the flight test. What a noise that was.
Yeah, that was weird. All right.
All right. All right.
That's actually not bad.
How's it feel?
Super soft, so
Translucent.
it is.
Sync.
It felt like a little bit.
How are you feeling now?
I feel okay. It's reacting in a way that, it's reacting in a way of something I've seen before. So it's not all unknowns. Now solving it might be an unknown, but I feel okay.
Happy face?
Nah, it's sinking the rim. It was so close.
So a couple discs down, and it's gonna take a few more to really try to figure out a process for this plastic, because we need to fully pack out and fill out the disc first, and then we can test the weight. Now, you might be looking at Kyle and I think to yourself, oh my gosh, did they show up to work matching? That's so embarrassing.
Yeah.
And that's not even the half of it. Matt, come here. Get over here. Everybody, this is the new guy. This is Matt. He makes discs as well. And yes, the three of us all matching. Unintentionally, but is what it is. So how's the process?
It appears to be working relatively well.
Should we?
It is
Is
time.
it time?
It is time.
Oh my goodness.
I wouldn't have guessed.
Let's go. Yes.
I would have actually assumed it was going to be way overweight.
Really?
We were packing so much plastic in this right now.
Dude,
Holy cow.
I honestly thought it was even lighter because it felt just really light to me, but I was like, I'm totally in my head about this. I bet it's 185. 172.
Yeah.
All right, it's 24 hours later. It is way too windy for a flight test, but we're also way too excited about this. Little did we know that a year of testing transparent plastics and trying to make a Frozone would end up making the most wild ozone we've made today. So not only is it translucent, which, I mean, get out of here, right? On top of that, it also ended up being both the gummiest and the flattest ozone we've ever made. So I think I'm just excited that it's different. Like, it's so different from what we're used to. I'm guessing it's gonna fly different. What do you think about the flight, Kyle?
I'm guessing overstable.
It's gotta be with the parting
With the
line.
flatness.
Yeah, it's so flat. I think if we keep it low, we will stay out of the wind. This is pretty well protected here. We should get a good read for it, but I don't wanna wait to throw these any longer, so. Okay, I mean,
You parked that pin
twice or it's luck. So that was on hyzer. Stock ozone would have flipped up for sure there, but let's try it flatter. I mean, it's still gonna have turn. Kyle,
Yeah.
Kyle,
Perfect.
oh my goodness. So good. Oh my goodness. It is actually beefy,
Yes.
because I pulled that one and you could hear the snap.
Yep.
And it flipped up, but then the moment where the ozone would typically then just hold the turn on that same power, it just pushed straight and then actually faded. Like it
Yep.
faded.
It has more finish than any ozone we've had.
It is like a week and a half later because it has only been windy in Denver, but now it is finally not windy. This is the official flight test. We've got stock ozone versus Frozone. All right, first up, stock ozone. I'm just gonna send it as hard as I can out there because if we're gonna see any difference in flight, it's not gonna be if we smooth it through a gap, it's gonna be full power. I also only happen to only throw full power, but that's not the main reason. It's important to note that that's the current stock ozone compared to the first run. So it's definitely got more integrity to it, but as you can see, just around the corner. Next up, Frozone. Another one. What is happening? I think it just still blows my mind that we can make a disc that flies completely different out of the same pieces of steel. Like, plastics are just wild. There's certain things I expected getting into making discs, and this is not one of them. But for like any other manufacturer, it would be a problem having one disc that flies different. But for us, it's literally a feature, not a bug, which just makes me so stoked. One more throw for the road on my favorite hole from the secret course. One thing I just thought about though that I just wanted to mention is that being gummy, like super gummy, this is not necessarily gonna be everyone's favorite. Wintertime, I think a lot of people will wanna lean on this, but regardless of the time of year, one thing that's really interesting about this is that A, if you're on like a hillside or something like that, this will stick and hit really well with probably less roll away. But then additionally, in testing it, I hit a tree and it just killed it. And at first I was like, dang, a stiffer one would have like hit that like branch and kept going. But if you're in the woods and you don't want to kick far off the fairway, but you want the distance you can get with an ozone, what is this? It's almost like when you make discs here every day, you just have to find your comfortable place. And then you just, if anyone walks in this building, you'll see Kyle in that position 10 times out of 10.